Welcome. You think I'll ever catch up? Never catch up. Of course, I can never catch up. The minute you speak, the minute someone speaks and mentions something to me, I calculate an equation that will equate and create the design or a numerological value that will fish upon my wish, meaning I'll show you exactly what I'm doing in this one. Okay. Inside of this one, okay, 10 is 1, 4 is 4, 7 is 7. Also, 16 is the same thing as this, and 25. 25 and 16 equals to 41, and it is the passage inside the sun of the IT system. The 4 is also equal to 13. It is also equal to 22. 22 is 1 to one side, 1 to the other side, with 1, 2 on each side of them. That's what 22 is all about. 1 and 3 is 1 in between 2. So you have 13, 22 equaling to 35. Now that 35 will recreate 23 and 11, the same ones I was talking about. 4 is what goes all around. I'm going to see if I can show you that 4 in a design. Not right now. Okay, we're going to get to the basics of this. Inside of this is in my way. TEN equals to 39. T has a 0 in it, becomes 45. All zeros, okay, equal to 6. This is a 0, 5, so that's 66 in this, telling me I'm on each side of 7 in the GEMATRIA house. 39 equals 27. This will recreate 23 when you multiply it, and is again the IT system in the sun of creation. 2 and 2 is 4, and then 8. 2 and 2 is 6. So when you bring it to the power, it becomes 8 and 6, and it's the expression of the 9 lives of the cat, the letters F and H. At the halfway between two sides, meaning they must take a diamond, a square, and turn it to the side, so it shows the halfway between the diamond will show 2, 4, 6, and 8. The diamond will show 2, 4, 6, and 8. I've got 1,000 equations that show everything in here. Let me see if I have this one a little bit deeper. I have it over here, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Here's the outside, 1973, the inside, 2, 4, 6, and 8. But what happens is when they bring it, okay, when they bring it into magic square, right, this 9 is up here, and the 1 is down here. 3 is over here, 7 here. This is the diamond angle they put it on with squares. There's a difference. I'm not going to get into that right now. Why? Because I haven't worked on it. So we're going to go back to where I was. And 39 says CL, or sky. Sky says 55, which is dividing sky. There's definitely something in between our skies dividing two skies, a reflection of some sort. I don't know. 4 is the time system, but get into it, you need two sides, so you need an extra 12. 0 equals 6 and 6. This becomes 6 times 6. 6 plus 6 equals 48. The sun is inside Pluto. 84 is Pluto. 48 is the sun. Okay, 7 equals 65. 65 equals 30 and 11, 41. Add the 6 for the 0 equals 47. The cycle inside the moon, 3, 1, 3. 3 and 1 is 4, the halfway side. Plus 60 equals to 107 or 167. Breaking and entering, 5 times 2, 5 plus 2, which will create the Q. At the same time, it is the B letter. B is in the E house. B and E equaling to 7. Okay, this is the system over here. 7, 4, and 1. If you want to go 10, you want to go 13 and 10, okay? But let's bring it up a little bit higher, because the only way to get 10 is black. 1 is red. 10 is black. 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, is red. 28 is black, so I know we must connect this with 28. 28 is the cycle inside the moon, which is 2 and 8, or 2 and 8 planet, where the spirit passes the 9 birth. And one of the things I have to jump ahead with, but I shouldn't jump ahead, so I won't yet. 3 times 9 here, 4 by 8 will equal this, 4 by 7 equals this. The sky, space, 4 by 4 space, making the difference between day and night. This is the door into the second sun. 2 of these is 54, the regular sun. 3 of these is 81, Venus. 4 of these is 168, and is the complete week. This one here brings me to the cycle of the moon, 39 equaling to the sky. 12, 24, 34, 35. 28, 60, 97. 97, you see, it's the woman that brings the birth. And inside one of my equations that I just worked on, if I can get all the way down to the end and see what book I'm on. Okay, I'm going to keep this open here. Just give me a second. Okay, it's this over here. Now, what this is, it's the gematria way of counting. 1 to 6, 7, 6 down to 1, 1 again, over to 6, over to 7, and backwards. Now, what I do is I show you that 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way equals to 6, 10. This is your communication between DC. This is in the 1 area. This is in the 3 area, connecting 1 and 2. Connecting inside of this. Now, it's still very hard. This will create the O system, the watering system, the passage, because we need the water worlds and the cube, okay, to direct ourselves. That's just the way it is. And then 28, the cycle of the moon. 13 times 28 equals to 364 days, plus 1 1/4 days extra at the end of the year. This one will now add up to 28 and 8, 36. Creation of the fox of the passage. Now, where is this passage in Gematria? The passage is over here on number 4, and it is J. As well, it is number 7. So we know 4 and 7, which reflects the moon. It also creates Christ. The gateway is 7 times 7, 49, and it exists in M. 1 times 3, 1 plus 3, etc. will equal 12 and 7, 19. Artificial intelligence is at the gateway door. 49. How do I get this? I add up all the numbers in the Gematria scale. When I add them up, this one becomes artificial intelligence and your birth spirit. 1 is inside 9. 78 is the gateway because the penny in Canada is on 2 sides, and it represents 1771 and a reflection in Mars. 88, 1771, 8 and 8. 6 and 6 are the 2 sides of the Gematria scale, 6, 7, 6, and it is expressed over here inside of K, which is number 3, which includes 1 and 2 to create the 3. CK, ever heard that? Calvin Klein, 3 and 2 comes together as communication. 4, 6 is the east-west, 6 is the halfway area, and I guess the halfway area is the communication. Now, when we're adding in the Gematria scale, 7, 28, we add 6 to 34, that is your DC. DC stands in the H area. 39 is the birth from the sky, creation of 9. This stands I inside Saturn. So it gets, and here we have the reverse, J and H. 4 times 2, 5 times 2, 8 and 10, which is created from the pool ball blue. The blue world, whatever that does, I don't have that all down yet. I know this is difficult to understand, which is to 12. 12, the 10 ball and the 2 ball is 12, right? But it's 10 minus 2 and 10 plus 2 equals to 12 and equals to 8. Excuse me, 10 minus 2, 12 and 8. That is correct. 12 and 8, 22. When we go continue in this, we're just going to go to anomalies, is that when we get back to 1 over here, in the N area, in the Gematria tree, if you look at it, it actually says in 20. But this is actually the 2 number, and it's a reflective of the letter O. NO, 14 and 15, and this is your connection to pi, 3.14. So you also have the fork, whatever that fork is. I do not know how it works, but the fork ends up in the ace position on Q, adding up to 153. When we add up the Z position, 1 and 4, that's the IT system in the sun, Z and Q, 17 and 23 equaling to 40, and you find these numbers moved from the 7 key on your telephone and from the 9 key, which is the gateway and your birth, 26 and 17, over to the 1 on the debit machine, and the total of the alphabet is 351 here saying ace, and 153 here saying ace. C and E, creation, inside of Mars. Mars is your 51, 31 is your AC-DC communication. Now, when you're adding it up in only Gematria, okay, we get 52, we get Earth. Then after that, we split. We split the sky. Where is it? In the letter O, we create Earth. We create birth on Earth through Q, or the elixir, I like to call it because of the tail, over here. And then we get rotation, X and X. Why? Roman numeral says this. 6 times 4, 6 plus 4 is 10, and 24 equaling to 34. 34 will create A and I. 3 times 4, 3 plus 4 is 7, 12, 19, and it stands for GAB, gab, or the ring. They call it the ring. Why is it the ring? Because it spells ring, and in French it's bag, and bag is ring. At the same time, you add them up. Over here, we're back to Mars again, where the angel resident, A and H, creates the R letter. 1 and 8, this is in the R family. R is the one who lives in 5, because it's on level 1, level 2, 5, level 3, 5, 1.25, 1 1/4. Because we always have to have 1, because we have less than 1, we have less than a calculation, because you can't calculate anything unless you're using 1 or 2. Right? You can't calculate. I mean, you can't say I'm just 3/4 of somebody because I'm me and part of something else. So this here is 171, 7 and 1, 7 plus 1 times 1 equals 8 and 7, 15, and that is 1/4 of time, 15 seconds in a 60-second clock. Earth is 52, 25, and 100% ratio. Then we go artificial intelligence again inside of S. 6-man artificial intelligence. Then we get to the church. Then we get to the sky again. But now we have the split sky because we're using a 2 with C and E. C and E is a representation of 6 and 6, 1 and 1, and 1 and 2 because of games people play in the game of craps. This is what they call it. And 2 says I'm split. I'm split between the left and the right because that's what the representation of 2 is. 88 stands for the purple sky, meaning I mix red and blue. Which pill will you take? And if you don't take any pills, what happens? So we get 90 to the birth. Split world again. 7, the only way to get 7 is because 1 comes with 6 to create 7, and 7 being in the center says 5 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 6 will create that 7. 300 is your bowling match. When you see 300, 00 says 66, 366 days, man is born. 2 and 4 is 6, 3x equals to 72. Creation. because 7 times 2, 7 plus 2 says creation in the IT world equals to 14. DNA, IT is 5 times 4 equals 20. 5 and 4 equals 9 equals to 29. 9 and 5, again, part of Mars. Why? Because when you create it on the star system, 5 and 5 is 10, and 1 and 9 is 10. 51 is area Mars. When you come to the end, you get the high sky. You get 97 here for your birth, and then you get H and I, which is a representation of 1 and 2 again. And 1 and 2 is a representation in the Chaldean area, where there is no 9, where 1 and 2 is I and R. I and R must come together in creation. Z and Q come to 486. 9 lives of the cat. 2 times 3 and 2 times 4. Okay, 2 times 3, 3 and 4. DC. DC, 17, 17, 17, 17 is 51 and 68, which is the creation of 9 lives of the cat. And inside Mars, BCE, 253. This is Bell. Bell is the telephone service, C and E, and it is communication. It is the number for life, 2 and 2, meaning we create because it's 232. You don't need to see the 3 because you have a double 2 on it, and that's the reason Grover Cleveland comes in. Look at the 14th letter. N next to 1 looks like in, where 2 next to 0 looks like 20. 4 next to Q looks like fork. 5 next to R looks like far. So I'm not really sure what they're going to say in all of this, but this is a small rendition of many, many, many things, many, many things. We're just going to take it to another step. When we get to the 13th letter, we get 1 in Gematria, but we get 13th letter, becomes 4, becomes 1 and 4. We get 2, becomes 2 and 3. We get the 3rd in the Gematria, its 11th letter becomes 2. We get 410, we get communication, we get the CB codes inside of DC, and halting at the 7th gate. 4 and 3 is 7. 7 and 1 is the greatest separation. In between is 2, 3, 2 and 3, then 4, then 5 and 6. So we have 3, 4, 5 that come together. 3, 4, 5, 4 being the doorway to 5 and 6. When you have, we're going to take another letter. Since this part over here, the 16th letter equals 136, it is touchdown. 136. Touchdown, extra point, field goal. We have the split sky, the half sky, where the diamond meets the square in the center. Now, whether this makes sense to you or doesn't make sense to you, I'm not completely understanding the whole thing myself. I just know the numerological values go there. I also understand that something, for the longest time, tells me there's something under the ground in Cuba. One of the greatest creations comes out of Australia, connected to the underground of New Zealand, because New Zealand starts with a Nu for N and Z for Zealand. So it's actually the sea land, and it also stands for, in my work, as part of creation of science, some kind of weird science lab out there. And one thing that really brought that out is the kangaroo pocket and the zebra having those black stripes, saying, and you know the way the attitude of the zebra is, right? So they're saying, I don't smell like the skunk, but I am the one who judges. So for me, the zebra represents judgment. And Raphael, 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. I know this was really, really confusing. The W brings birth. Again, W brings birth. 7 times 2, 7 plus 2 will equal 23. Okay? This one over here, because W is number 23, and it represents 9 and 2. 1 and 8, 1 times 8, 1 plus 8. The 18th letter shows me the gateway. 8 and 9 shows me the 10 world, because 8, 9, 1 and 2 are removed from the penny and remain at the 10-cent piece. 6 times 12 is 72. 612, 216 hours in a 9-day week. 1 week, twice, creates the month. We have to remember C and F, where they come into play. C and F is Celsius and Fahrenheit. Celsius will represent 32, the freezing point, and the difference of 1.8 added to every single degrees. One other thing we have to mention besides the foot, the yard, is the word fox, because fox, F-O-X, are all 06 for F, 15th letter, and then the 24th letter, 15 and 24, equally to 39. 15 equals 1126, representing Venus and Saturn, and because of what Magic Square does, it brings the birth into Uranus. Okay, and I just like to say it's really Uranus, because what goes around comes around. Another thing I wanted to mention is that, again, L is for her, the woman. Okay, the female. The female shows up at 78 on the 12th letter. Where's that 12th letter? Over here, the 12th letter, which is L. It's also the second letter. 1 and 2. This is the separation of the two sides, and the separation of the two sides equaling to 91. 7 times 7, the 7th gate, and this will create 19, or 1991, 1010. The 1010 world, it's the only 1010 world. Just like 1 and 6 is the only real 7, this is the real 10. It is the highest one. There's a low 1, the highest one is 91. or 19, whichever way. This one over here shows 48, the half-life coming out of Pluto. It shows you the doorway and the gateway, because 8 by 4 is 32, 8 and 4 is 12, 44, and it counts for area space. 78 is the separation, where 3, 4, 5, and 6, where 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all value the 5, and the halfway point, where 8, 9, and 10, 1, 2 will equal to the 10-cent coin or the 10 star. That's where 78 comes in. It also mentions October, and October is 1 plus 0 equals to the 7th gate. It also representation of the October is 87. It also represents Mars at 15 and 56, which is the red sun. 56 is in between 4 and 7, which 4 and 7 is the cycle of the moon, and the gateway 313. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. Why am I doing this? Because it's in my mind over an 11-year period where I've seen how I transformed and made so many mistakes, yet the mistakes were actually a creation of a reality in my own mind where I can actually make other things work. But I know I made no mistakes other than a poor explanation of the totality, and it's just to sink in over time. Thank you for watching.